2, 3.
Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to the front of the line, courtesy of Tomas Bell and Tomasian Entertainment. Today I'm here with my good friend and the bass player in Jack Kilby on the front line, Mr. Kris Monson. As everybody knows, having a great bass player is truly fundamental. Get it? Because they play the fundamental. We were just talking about this, so and just how awesome bass players truly are. And we are so lucky to have a really great one. He's constantly, the star of the show. People come up to me all the time and they say, "Oh my gosh, your bass player, da 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 da." You got a resounding applause at our album release shows. So I'd like to welcome you, Kris, to the show, man. Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Glad to be here. Glad to be part of the project. Glad to be doing a little interview here. So should be fun.
So as some people may know, you live in New York City now. You're from Northern Virginia, and we both went to UVA. But now you're in New York, and you're doing your master's at the Manhattan School of Music. So how's your classes going?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's going well. It's now pretty smack in the middle of the fall semester, so things are in full swing. Taking some... Oh, full swing. Oh my gosh. Classes in composition and arranging, taking a class in history of Brazilian music, which has been really cool. Playing in ensembles, taking private lessons. I'm very fortunate to be studying with the legendary Buster Williams this semester. Phenomenal bass player and educator and titan of this music. So it's been great to spend some time with him this year and other faculty at MSM, Manhattan School of Music. So, yeah, it's been going well. So that's what I've been up to pretty much the past so far this semester. And this is now my second year and final year. It's a 2-year master's program. So,
right,
coming down the home stretch.
Yeah, it sure blows by. Makes you wish you could just kind of do this whole be in school and practice all day forever.
Yeah, it's a little utopian, a little magical thing, or you just go to class and study music, then you go and practice music, and then you go hang out with musicians, or it's crazy.
And so, like music school, I mean, your mom runs the music program at George Mason University, and she's an incredible pianist and one of the nicest people I've ever met. So you also play piano, and did you hang around the music school when you were growing up? Like, was it just at the house, or did you go and hang out at concerts and stuff like that, and hang with the students?
Yeah, it was both. My mom would be teaching private piano lessons all the time in our living room growing up, and I would a lot of times would come and just kind of hide and sit under the piano during her lessons and watch the pianist's feet move the pedals, and how like sitting under a piano is an amazing thing. You hear the entire soundboard resonating, and so when I was a little kid, I really liked doing that. And then I would inevitably talk or make some noise and then get kicked out and I have to leave. But yeah, so that was in the house. And then as I was kind of older, I studied classical piano with my mom and with another piano teacher. And then also, like you mentioned, as my mom got more involved at George Mason University, the school that she teaches at, we would also be going to concerts all the time, all different kinds of concerts, from, jazz, big band concerts to symphony orchestra and opera and piano, which is a wonderful, really lucky, amazing environment to be in. And then when I'd be practicing sometimes, when I was younger, I used to play violin as well. I'd be practicing, and even if I'd be upstairs in my room, my mom would be downstairs, and she'd yell up through the stairs, "No, F sharp, F sharp!" Or she'd be like, "No, don't rush, don't rush!" like through the floors, and like, "Oh, right, okay, got it." And depending on my mood and my age, sometimes I'd be cool, sometimes I'd be annoying, but
right.
Regardless, that was how it was, in the house.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. That's really amazing. And it goes to show, you have such big ears, man. I think that's the thing that, in terms of your playing, it's definitely one of the things I love most about you, but I think it's also something that very clearly connected to the listeners. Because when I hear from these people after the concerts, man, I mean, they're not just talking about like how into it you look. And if you've seen Kris Monson play bass, you know that this man looks like he's having the time of his life. You know, it's a really good reminder to me, you know, Mr. Resting bitch face, you know, to look like you're having fun. I really think that the people are listening, you know, and that you're playing something that's, you know, melodic. You play really melodically, and yet, you know, they're still so fundamental and you know, able to be the foundation of it all. There's something about that, I think, you know, that people appreciate.
Arguably, one of the most important things we do is, as musicians creating music, is listening to what else we're creating with and, you know, adding or contributing to.
And so you actually did a little more classical work this summer, right? I mean, at Banff. Why don't you tell people about that?
Yeah, sure. So, this past summer I was actually involved in 2 different summer programs. The first one was playing in a classical music festival in Tennessee. It's called Sewanee Summer Music Festival. And that was playing bass and orchestra and string quartet or quintet, and so this was a really fun and amazing experience to be playing bass in a bass section, you know, contributing, being with a 6 or 7 other
You're
bass
often
players.
by yourself.
But being in a section, it's amazing. Just I imagine it's how a horn, you know, like in the front line, how a horn player feels. They're one of 3, or I mean, even in the rhythm section, we're our own little team. But when you have other people of your same instrument, or I guess maybe like the trombone section in a big band or something, but at least they're even one on a part. But in like a bass section, you're all playing the same part. So it's another thing you have to work on, is being able to blend with the section and not being inappropriate or matching your tone and volume and articulations as the players around you. You know, it's not about how you sound as an individual. It's much more, are we creating a cohesive sound as a section? So that was amazing. During July, I was doing that. And then in August, I participated in this program called the Banff International Workshop in Jazz and Creative Music, and that was up in Western Canada in the Canadian Rockies, in this beautiful town called Banff. And that was a whole immersive program in the general category of creative music, so playing a lot of people's original compositions and some more freely improvised, different kinds of styles of music that are in the more broad category of creative music and jazz, which was really cool. They had really great faculty there. Vijay Iyer and Taishan Sori were the directors of the program, and they had amazing master classes and ensemble coachings and all kinds of stuff. So that was in August. So that was a really amazing experience and a cool and a crazy contrast to the classical all orchestra music in the previous month. So yeah, that's what I was doing this summer, and then came back to New York and started back up at school, and then make some trips down to DC for our concerts, our album release. So it's been a busy past couple of months running around, but very, very fortunate for all the things I've been involved with and working on.
Yeah, man, you're going to be so well-rounded. You're like eating all your food groups. Like
trying, you know.
I mean, yeah, I'm becoming increasingly aware of just how much that contributes, you know, and the whole, like, there's good music and there's bad music, you know, all this genres and stuff. It shouldn't matter as much. It's just as good or bad. And, you know, I think that I was turned off to a lot of certain styles of music when I was younger that, like, I didn't play, you know, that I'm only just now starting to get into, you know, like the classical stuff or opera or listening to solo piano, you know, something I'd never really checked out growing up. You know?
Yeah.
So it's really amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's all, you know, it sounds funny, but it's all music. It's all something that we listen to and have an emotional reaction to. So it's just a matter of what it was categorized as historically, is how we think of it as a genre. But there's so many intersections and similarities and things between all these different performers and compositions and things. So there's so much to learn and gather from all these different sources and things you can apply to any kind of music making, or really even just human interaction, like learning how to blend in, or when to be an individual, or when to be part of a section, when to listen, when to speak, all that stuff. It's all the same. This is probably the kind of stuff that our trumpet player John Durth, our good friend and mentor, probably talks about. All this type of.
I mean, unless that, you know, that's one thing that I mentioned, but that I didn't really dive into, but that is definitely worth mentioning, is that you and I, like, I don't know about you, man, but like meeting John in Charlottesville and meeting Charles, you know, and all the other amazing folks down there, you know, that create the music scene, like, saved my life going to UVA. I mean, just the most amazing, like, unofficial undergraduate, like, education, you know, in just being able to go and play. You know,
absolutely. It's such a huge influence. John was on our lives, and Charles, and, you know, they kind of took, they did this for me, and, you know, I'm sure the same for you, kind of took us under their wing. We were these, you know, kids coming into college. I'm just, you know, like, didn't really know what we were doing, but for whatever reason, they saw some light that was worth them spending their time with, and then, you know, showed us this entire world. And I remember John and, like, other people like Mike Rosinski and Pete Spar just telling me, oh man, you got to check out this, you got to check out this person, you got to check out this record, you got to check out this. And then I check them out, and we talked about it, and oh wow, I can't believe what this was and what this was happening. And they're like, oh yeah, well then they explain all this whole thing, oh that was this and blah blah blah. And I can very confidently say I would not be anywhere near the person or musician that I am if it wasn't for all those people in Charlottesville. So really amazing.
Without doubt. Yeah. And another person to maybe mention would be Josh, or Robert Joshbay, who was my drum teacher at UVA, and who I know he ended up hiring you, man, you know, to play some gigs with him. I mean, we're talking about a drummer who's like one of the most like rooted and grooving dudes, like, you know, just out there. I mean, I think, you know, being young and being able to do that, you know, in the same way that John would be kicking our butts at Miller's on Thursday night. Yeah,
exactly. Amazing to have these older musicians that were teaching us and that we were looking up to and learning from, but for them to be like, okay, well, also here I have this gig coming up, I want you to play with me. And here I am trying to figure out these basic things, like I'm just checking out all the stuff that they're telling me to listen to, and then all right, I guess I can come, you know, trying to play some music with you. Amazing experience. Can't say enough about it.
I was remembering one time, I'm glad I don't do this to you anymore, but when Pete, the bass player down there, you know, and I was playing with Jamal, and I had played with the beat turned around for, I think, an entire blues, man, or maybe everything but the head. I got turned around from the get-go and just couldn't get it back, you know, and they just kind of dealt with the mayhem that ensued. And so it takes a lot of love.
And that's the thing, is all of those people are all so deeply rooted in love, and both for the music and for spreading that music to other people, especially young people. It's really, really unique and a really beautiful thing to be doing that and to be a part of that. And for us, we were fortunate enough to experience that and learn from it. It really translates an entire, not only understanding of music, but an entire approach that is based around caring for people and playing the music because we want to be a part of a community and doing it in a more selfless way versus something that is more, I don't want to say soloistic, but it's just a very community and loving atmosphere that
unifying.
All those guys create. Yeah, and I think it has a big effect on how you play music and I mean really the entire way that you live your life, but especially in this specific thing of how you play the music and how we treat each other.
Hence the record title, Love is a Song Anyone Can Sing, and that's for sure.
Oh yeah, good transition.
And so I wanted to introduce your little interlude. And for the folks that don't know, one of the things that's on the album are these little, you know, with love from blah, blah, blah. So I asked, you know, certain people in the band, of which Kris was one of them, to play just their own rendition of the melody to the title track, Love is a Song Anyone Can Sing. And then one time, Kris and I got up. I had just bought a new interface, was excited to use it. And Kris and I got together at my house after a gig and laid the foundation for the other various small group iterations of, you know, the same concept, just like different vibes of the melody. And so Kris, of course, this is another thing I love about him, is that he's really got his shit together, you know, as a band leader and as a friend. You know, you appreciate both those two things, whether it's like responding to the text message about, you know, the gig details for blah, 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 or the email about this and that, when you're trying to schedule something that involves like 6 other people. Now, I really get why people don't have, or why more people don't have sextets. It's like the money and the lines of communication. It's just a lot.
Yeah,
so always appreciated, and you being able to just like be really on top of that stuff and get back. And it really goes to show too in the way that you approached this, what I asked of you, and that you were very thought out. You know, you were the only one to really like pre-prepare something and bring it in. And I think that was a really awesome, and your interlude, it's right after the title track on the record, but it just sounds so cool. And it clearly demonstrates your ability as a pianist. I was certainly impressed. I mean, I've heard you play changes, but then when I was listening to you play this thing, it was really, really cool what you did with it. So we're going to cut now to Kris's little interlude. It's called With Love from Kris Monson.